Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Olson, and today I'm introducing you to the research project I'm conducting. For the next 5 minutes, I'll present to you the problem that George Washington faced during the New York campaign in 1776, and how General Washington fixed that problem for future battles and engagements during the American Revolution. The problem Washington faced during the New York campaign was an intelligence gap. The intelligence gap included information such as enemy location, disposition, composition, and intentions. Disposition refers to the geographical layout of enemy forces, including their location, arrangement, and orientation in the physical space. Composition refers to the types, task organization, strengths, and capability of those opposing forces. Intentions refers to the goals, plans, and anticipated actions of adversaries. Washington did not know when or where Admiral Richard Howe or General William Howe's troops were coming. He guessed that the Howe brothers were going to invade New York and assumed it would be by sea. Washington did not know the composition of the invading forces. For example, how much heavy or light infantry, how much cavalry, how much artillery, these units that were projected to land. This type of information would have helped Washington prepare for the defense of New York. As it was, Washington had no idea. The lack of intelligence during the New York campaign contributed to a series of defeats. Mistakes happened that led to defeats at the Battle of Long Island, 27 August, the Battle of Brooklyn, 15 September, Battle of White Plains, 28 October, the Battle of Fort Washington, 16 November, and the fall of Fort Lee, 19 November. The New York campaign was disastrous for the Continental Army. These defeats caused low morale for the American troops, and the patriotic cause was in jeopardy and dangerously close to collapse, as explained in David Hackworth Fisher's book, Washington's Crossing, and the writings of Washington, which is a 34-volume set. For future success, Washington had to fix the intelligence gap. To fix the intelligence gap, Washington created special scout units and his own spy network to gather intelligence to understand the enemy's location, disposition, composition, and intentions. One example of the special scout unit was Knowlton's Rangers. In Washington's Spies, a book written by Alexander Rose, Knowlton's Rangers was a battalion-sized unit commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Thomas Knowlton. Knowlton was a former farmer who served as a ranger in the French and Indian War and fought at the Bunker Hill. He recruited several companies to be in his battalion. One of these company commanders transferred from Connecticut's 19th Regiment of Foot, which means infantry, and his name was Captain Nathan Hale, who graduated from Yale University. When Washington needed someone for a mission to discover what type of British Army units occupied Long Island, Hale volunteered to go. Unfortunately, a few days after being inserted by a Patriot schooner, Hale became careless. He spent too much time in the open and compromised himself. Major Robert Rogers, who operated Rogers Rangers for the British Army, spotted him, beguiled Hale by pretending to be a friend, and captured him the next day. Rogers delivered Hale to General Howe, who signed his death warrant, and the British hung Hale at Artillery Park in New York City, 22 September. An inaccurate theater production claimed Hale's final words were, "I only regret that I have but one life to lose for my country." Washington set up several spy rings. One example was a Culper ring, started in 1778 and managed by Colonel Benjamin Talmadge, also a Yale graduate. The Culper ring used a code system and expanded their operation to several states, including Connecticut and New York. Another spy ring involved a former slave, James Armistead, who communicated via courier with Marquis de Lafayette prior to the Battle of Yorktown in 1781. Some of this data I gleaned from Life magazine's American Revolution Special Edition. Armistead infiltrated the British camp as a runaway slave and worked for General Charles Cornwallis doing various tasks and movements to Lafayette, who relayed information to Washington. In closing, my task today was to present to you my research project. The problem Washington discovered was an intelligence gap during the New York campaign of 1776, which led to a low point in the American cause for freedom. He fixed the intelligence gap by using special scout units such as Knowlton's Rangers and setting up spy rings. One mission of Knowlton's Rangers ended in disaster as the British executed Nathan Hale after being compromised. One example of a spy ring was the Culper ring supervised by Colonel Talmadge. So pending your questions or comments, have a great rest of your day.